On Tuesday, a jury in Minneapolis found former police officer Derek Chauvin guilty of the murder of George Floyd. The convictions on 3 charges and the image of a former officer being handcuffed in the courtroom and led away to prison were extraordinary for how rare they are. In remarks that night, President Biden vowed to push for reform in policing, just one on a long list of issues that have occupied the president's first 100 days. NBC's senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson has a look in our Sunday Focus.
In our first 100 days, my first 100 days, by the end of our first 100 days.
Plenty of presidential pledges for these first 100 days.
I promise you. I promise you.
A time frame that's mostly symbolic.
The presidential honeymoon.
But ever since the era of Franklin Roosevelt and the Great Depression, it's been a measuring stick for progress on promises. For President Biden, that's everything from the pandemic to immigration to climate to unifying the country.
And unity is the path forward.
Our new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll shows just over half of Americans give the president strong marks for trying to unite. But 8 in 10 people say this country is still divided on issues, including some of the White House's top priorities. So what does the scorecard show? Start with the pandemic. The president pledged to reach 100 million shots in arms in his first 100 days.
Today, we hit 200 million shots in the 92nd day in office.
Go ahead and roll your sleeve up. Keep your arm nice and relaxed.
Promise kept. The president pledged to pass a COVID relief bill, check, and order a federal mask mandate, check. But critics point out his COVID goals overall felt less than ambitious.
He had the advantage of inheriting a situation that was going to head in the right direction. The economy was going to recover, and the pandemic was going to get crushed by the vaccines.
On police reform, after campaigning during a national reckoning on race, the president made this first 100 days pledge.
I've committed to creating a National Police Oversight Commission.
But that is a promise unfulfilled. Why has the president and the White House shifted the goal when it relates to that oversight board?
The reason that we decided not to do that commission is we sat down with leaders in the civil rights community who are working on police reform, and they told us they didn't think it was necessary, that they didn't think it would be productive, and that they thought the most productive thing we could do was work to get the George Floyd Act passed.
Some of the president's other pledges involve cooperation from Congress, but on comprehensive immigration reform, a bill the president promised to send and did, that seems unlikely anytime soon, given GOP pushback. On climate, the president rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement, a promise kept, along with another, hosting world leaders for a virtual summit just this week.
This is a moral imperative, an economic imperative.
A scorecard setting the tone for the next 100 days and beyond.
Most of the important things that presidents do happen after the first 100 days. It's just a sliver of their time in office. Yet, it really does set a pattern that has a lot to do with how well they can lead later on.
And Hallie joins me now live. Hallie, good morning. Great to see you. Obviously, the president has a big challenge on his hands in front of him right now with the infrastructure bill. But what else is on the agenda moving forward for the administration?
So really, the folks at the White House are looking ahead to what's happening this week when President Biden goes to give his address to Congress, a big moment, a significant one. It's happening a little bit later this year because of issues related to the pandemic, Willie. But as far as priorities, you've got a couple of things. Selling that infrastructure plan you've talked about. And by the way, we mentioned in the story how the president had pledged unity. There are some mixed questions of whether Americans think that's actually happening. The GOP is now out with their own Republican plan on infrastructure, far smaller, much less sprawling than what President Biden and the Democrats are pushing for. The piece you're going to see President Biden really focus on this coming week has to do less with the jobs piece and more with what they're framing as the families piece of this. So these are domestic priorities like expanding universal pre-K, getting that in place, expanding paid leave, extending that child tax credit that we've actually talked about on this show, Willie. So that is going to be sort of phase 2 or the next part of what you're going to see the president try to really sell. Willie?
Yeah, will he do it with any Republican votes? That remains the question. Hallie Jackson, great piece. Thanks so much. Let's bring in Chuck Todd. He's NBC's political director and moderator of Meet the Press. Chuck, good morning. Good to see you, my friend. So we're rolling out these new NBC Wall Street Journal polls this morning on Meet the Press. The country says we're divided. 8 in 10 Americans say we're divided, and yet President Biden has an approval rating up into the 50s. What do you read into these numbers?
Well, he's getting a lot of benefit from what Rich Lowry said in Halley's piece, which is he's riding the momentum in some ways of a recovering economy and the escalation of the vaccinations. But at the end of the day, this is happening on his watch, and things look like they weren't going to go well. He took over, and things seem to smooth out. Some might argue they always would have, but it doesn't matter. It's on his watch, and that has given him political capital, Willie. Because in our numbers here, you see that is driving the overall positive approval ratings he has. And anytime you're over 50 in this polarized environment, that's really solid. It's sort of the new 60% of the way when you and I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So there are warning signs in here. On immigration and on taxes, he's upside down. But it's not bad enough that it impacts his overall number.
Yeah, it's interesting. Relative to past presidents, his approval at this point isn't actually that high compared even to President Obama or George W. Bush. But compared to Donald Trump and given where we are the country, it's a pretty decent number. Chuck, thanks so much. Chuck, of course, will be digging much deeper into those brand new NBC Wall Street Journal polls this morning on Meet the Press. And NBC News will have coverage and analysis of President Biden's first 100 days across all of its platforms this week.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.